Joining me now is Richard Robinson, who's the CEO of Atkins UK and Europe. Richard, you've conducted a chunky bit of research with Durham University and the Northern Powerhouse Partnership into the issue of levelling up, and it's quite recent research conducted in the summer of 2022. Why did you go about that research?
Well, at Atkins, we're one of the leading design and engineering consultancies in the country, and we employ around 10,000 people. And we have a really big footprint right across the north. We have operations in Cumbria, Sellafield, Leeds, Manchester, across to Teesside, up to Newcastle. So we're really committed to the north, and we really believe in the north, and we really believe in the concept of levelling up. And we're involved in so many fantastic projects. We can see it actually underway. And one of the reasons we did the research was to find out how we could help more, and to find out what the challenges were for local government, for local policymakers in driving levelling up, and how they saw the challenges.
Now, the research was among people in local authorities and leadership in the north of England. What were the key findings?
Well, I think one of the key findings that came out was that local government leaders felt that business had a really strong role to play in driving levelling up, which was music to my ears, because I think they're exactly right. And the message is that we could play a key part in driving innovation, driving skills, helping build out the transport and energy infrastructure were all things that we absolutely have in our sights, in our business. So there's great alignment there.
Looking at the report, there were quite a few political comments, some of which were critical of the government. What was your opinion when you read those?
Look, I think my opinion on this is that my business in particular, exists to deliver for policymakers. And I think politicians in general have their local constituents' best interests at heart and develop policies around that. And we're just really focused on delivering on those policies for the region.
There was also an emphasis on innovation. What kind of innovation do you think you can bring to the discussion on levelling up?
Well, at the moment in Atkins, we're making a really big investment in digital, and we're transforming our own operations and helping clients transform their organisations to be more efficient, to be more productive. And I think overall that will enable us to deliver more infrastructure, more engineering projects for the same amount of money. So we'll deliver more infrastructure for the country.
Levelling up is sometimes thought of as big projects, building projects like the ones you're involved in. But there was quite a lot of emphasis in the research on the importance of levelling up people. That seems a difficult concept. How would you think about levelling up people? What does it mean to you?
Well, levelling up people was an interesting phrase that came out of the research, and to me that means creating opportunity, making the north a place where that attracts talent to it, not that suffers from a talent drain. And for example, at Atkins, we're going to take on around 200 apprentices this year. A large number of those will be in the north. And we think, we have a strong commitment to bringing in that young talent, that new talent through the apprentice route. And that's just one of the examples I would give of levelling up people.
Now, you were obviously involved in a lot of these matters in the Construction Leadership Council. Tell me what the opinion of construction leaders is of the way the country is going about levelling up in general.
So I'm closely involved with the Construction Leadership Council, and I can tell you for sure that our skills, we have 4 key priorities, one of which is our skills and people agenda, and that is core to levelling up as the construction industry sees it. And the construction industry is circa 9% of GDP of the country, so has a huge impact on employment and productivity of the overall economy.
Having read all the research and the different opinions that have been expressed, what do you think is the future of the levelling up agenda?
So the future of the levelling up, I think, is really interesting and falls probably into 2 areas in my view. One is around government needs to keep on keeping on. Levelling up is not a 1 or 2 year activity. It may take a decade or even a couple of decades. And that requires long-term commitment from government. It needs to survive each political cycle. It requires continued investment and determination to make it a success. So I think there's a commitment and tenacity required. I think the second thing is, and we heard this, I think, in the government announcements at the end of September, I think the new innovation around investment zones, I think, and the sort of economic innovation that the potentially that they could provide could be a really interesting driver for levelling up.
It's not just the businesses that need to innovate, policymakers do too.
It would seem that way, and there seems to be quite a lot of innovation coming, which I think can only be a good thing.
Richard Robinson, thank you.
Thank you.